Okay, so V-Ray 7 is among us and it brings a whole bunch of great features. One of them is the support for Gaussian Splats. But first, what exactly is Gaussian Splats?
Gaussian splats are a technique for creating 3D models of real-world scenes using millions of translucent ellipsoids, or splats. The splats are based on volume, and each one has a position, size, color, and orientation. When viewed together, the splats blend to create a realistic representation of the original scene.
Yeah, that's what Google says. Anyway, if you want to know more about that, check out this video by Black Mixture. They did a great job explaining what Gaussian splats are and why they're so cool. Now you can use Gaussian splats within V-Ray. Is it worth it? Does it make any sense? Let's find out. Alright, before we move into 3ds Max, we need to obtain a file containing the splats we'll use in our scene. The website poly.cam offers an interesting and varied collection of ready-made files uploaded by users, which you can download for testing. To do this, you'll need a pro account, but the site offers a 7-day trial so you can experiment with its features. Once you've chosen a scene, it's important to check what the capture includes. Some files cover only small sections, like houses or alleys, while others, captured with drones, encompass larger areas. However, it's worth noting that even drone captures don't guarantee high quality. It's common for files to focus on a single building, with the rest of the scene being quite simplified, which can limit camera positions in 3D. Another issue with external captures is the resulting resolution. When captured from a distance, building details become coarser, preventing, for example, camera zooms. Therefore, if you're capturing images yourself, always pay attention to what should appear in the scene later, and ensure that everything that needs to be seen is included. One point to consider is the size of the objects resulting from the capture. Poly.cam allows you to measure objects, like this building, for example. In the original capture, it was approximately 8 inches tall, which is obviously incorrect. Thus, you can rescale the entire scene by specifying the correct size on the site. Since we have an approximate idea of the building's height based on the number of floors, we can input the desired size here. Now, in 3ds Max, the process is quick and straightforward. Ensure your scene uses the correct units, then go to Create, Geometry, V-Ray, and select V-Ray Gaussian Splats. In File, choose the PLY file with the capture and click Open. Now you'll see several options labeled Affect, which allow the splats to affect respectively the camera, making them visible to the camera, cast shadows in the 3D scene, appear in reflections and refractions, and be considered on matte surfaces, as you'll see shortly. Click in the viewport and the import happens almost instantly. Note that the capture appears sideways with the Z-axis horizontal. This is common when importing geometries created in other 3D software. To correct it, simply click the Flip Axis option. Although we adjusted the model's scale on the site, it's important to verify it within 3ds Max as well. To do this, create a box with the correct size and compare it to the imported splats. To adjust the size, change the scale value. Continuing with our scene, I'll bring in the 3D model of a building to place in the adjacent parking area, as if it were an extension of the original building in the capture. This can be a bit challenging since the splats visualization isn't solid, but with some patience, you'll position your new building quickly. Before proceeding, I choose an angle to work from and place a V-ray physical camera. Now a point to note, splats don't react to scene lighting, although they do cast shadows on nearby 3D objects. Therefore, you should light your scene as usual, trying to match the splat's lighting as closely as possible. In our case, we have sunlight coming from the right and, of course, a dome light for sky illumination. In our first render test, we see that everything fits perfectly. However, as I mentioned earlier, our building doesn't cast any shadows in the scene since splats don't receive shadows. To fix this, we'll create a V-ray plane, add a shadow catcher, and place it roughly at ground level. This creates the illusion that our building is casting a shadow in the original scene. We continue adjusting the building's position and can enhance the scene with more elements now that the main setup is ready. Notice how shadows, refractions, and reflections work perfectly, making our building appear fully integrated into the location. By adding vehicles and other elements to the surroundings, we create a more complex and customized scene with details that bring it to life. For even more control over how the splats integrate with a 3D, you can adjust the intensity parameter, which functions similarly to self-illumination, allowing for fine-tuning. To finish, we render the image. Use an AI tool for upscaling and generating natural details that help blend the splats with the 3D building and complete everything with traditional post-production. Now, answering the question I posed at the beginning of the video, using Gaussian splats in your architectural scenes makes perfect sense, if you can use them in your project, of course. The flexibility of various angle options, the speed of importing and rendering, and the image quality make this a great substitute for the traditional static images we often use to create the illusion that the project is in its intended location. As with photographs or even 3D models, the main issue is the quality of the file you use. If the capture was done carefully and correctly, incorporating Gaussian splats into your workflow is an excellent idea. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this on CG Architect, please like, subscribe to our channel, and activate notifications so you don't miss any news from the ArchViz world. See you next time.